What's up, guys? It's K4K Crypto. This is going to be your one-stop shop for getting crypto security right. If you don't watch it all the way to the end, I feel bad for you. You might get hacked in the future. I can't guarantee your safety. But if you follow all of these steps, you are going to have the peace of mind of a king, where you don't care what happens. You can let someone use your computer. Even if you do crypto on it, I wouldn't recommend that. You should have a dedicated laptop or a dedicated PC just for crypto and do everything else that you do on another computer. But with this method I'm going to show you, you're going to feel so much better than you've ever felt about actually maintaining security of your funds and not accidentally losing them to any potential online threats. There are threats out there, which I'll get into, where it's possible people can steal your Metamask seed phrase literally just because it's online and in your browser. If you are a target, someone can get it from you. They will not be able to do that, however, if you use this method that I'm going to show you in this video. So be sure to watch all the way to the end and give this video a like, give the channel a subscribe if you like this type of content. I'm going to be putting out some, this is going to be good for years to come. It doesn't get better than this. I'm going to go over everything. So, and if you're in crypto now and say you only have $100 or $1,000 in crypto, we plan to hold this crypto stuff. If you hold it for a year, 2 years, we've seen numbers as high as 10,000x returns on your money. So if 10,000 times your money or 1,000 times your money you currently have invested isn't worth protecting, maybe you only have a penny in crypto and 10,000 times that isn't that great, but most people have more than that in crypto. And 10,000 times your money is probably worth paying the $80 to get a hardware wallet, or two, pay $160, have two in case you need a backup for whatever reason. But really, you can do most of what I'm going to go through today. If you're just starting out in crypto, you only need one hardware wallet. I would recommend still having a backup. But anybody who participated in something where you have coins in the future that are locked into a certain address, such as a Metamask wallet or any other DeFi wallet, if it's locked to that address and you can't move it to a new address, then you're going to need two hardware wallets regardless. So we'll get into why and all the benefits in this video. Stay tuned. So here is a brand new Trezor hardware wallet. This is what it looks like. Okay. It's brand new. If I plug it into the computer here, what it looks like on the screen when it lights up. The words say, "Welcome, please visit trezor.io/start." So I'm going to go over everything in this video, why it's important. A lot of people misunderstand concepts around hardware wallets. They think if you have a hardware wallet, if someone gets your seed words, they can't access your money, right? Because they'd need your hardware wallet. Not true. That is false. If someone has your seed words to the address in your hardware wallet, it doesn't matter. They don't need your hardware wallet. They don't even need their own hardware wallet, except for a special case, which I'll get to later in the video. If you want to be super secure, you can actually give away your seed words and nobody can access your money still anyway. If you want to hear about that, stay till the end. How great does that feel? The thought that, oh crap, if I expose my seed words online, someone posts them to the internet, and no one can still access my money? Doesn't that intrigue you just a little bit? I'm going to show you how that's possible. And it's only doable with a hardware wallet. So stick to the end. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. There's links in the description, the exact link you need to get the cheapest, best hardware wallet I recommend, which is a Trezor. And you just go down in the description. It's the correct link to the right store, so you don't get scammed trying to Google it, and then you get an ad that says, click here, it's the legit site, and it's not. So if you use the link in the description, it is the correct link. I would recommend doing that. Whenever you're online as well, I recommend using a VPN. I use Nord, as you can see here. I use Nord. It protects your IP, so you're not a part of big honeypots that collect user data, and they can tell which websites you visited, and so you're less likely to be a target. And that's the best way to stay safe in crypto, is to just not be a target and do as much as you can to make it as difficult as possible for any would-be hacker to get your funds. If you leave the front door open, the windows open, the back door open, well, you're probably going to get robbed more likely than the guy who has an iron gate dome around his house. They're like, do I want to drill underground to get to this guy's house, or do I just walk into that guy's front door and steal his money? So that's how you have to think about it in crypto. And this VPN actually sped up my internet service, and I only paid $3 to get double my speed. If you want to see that video, it's down in the description. It's very cheap. Everyone should have a VPN, especially in crypto. That's just another layer of security. I do think a VPN is necessary in crypto if you are a long-term holder, which is how you get the most returns in crypto. So VPN mixed with hardware wallet, you are dressed for success in this industry. You guys are going to love how you feel whenever you get to this level of security. Like, I can make videos about my security because I'm not trying to get enemies on, get hackers attacking me. Like, this is a risk. I wouldn't recommend you make videos ever talking about how much money you have or anything like that, or posting online your addresses or anything like that. That just makes you a target. So do not do that. Dedicated laptop, stuff like that. I have links to that in the description too. If you want to get a cheap dedicated laptop just for crypto, I linked some ones I recommend on the Amazon store page. You can just check it out. It's just a link to Amazon. I made lists for people, the best steel imprint, discrete place to write your seed words, because even if you have a hardware wallet, you still have seed words. You will have a set of seed words for the private key that is stored inside the hardware wallet, and that will be best secured if you put it into metal. And I have lists of that down in the description below as well, so that you can, if you go and buy a crypto product online with your credit card, you're basically telling that whoever's collecting that data, say it's Amazon, say their servers get hacked, oh, John Doe at 123 Street bought a billfold or a crypto punch out thing. If you do that, you're on this, you can be aggregated into a list of potential, let's target this guy. We have his address, we have his number, we have this. Okay, and he talks about online how he has this amount of money. You get onto these lists, you don't want that. So if you buy discrete things, like I have a list down below, in the Amazon link, if you do it that way, like I recommend getting, like I have the list. You don't even have to search for the stuff. Washers. I know this looks crazy. Washers with a bolt. This is a 2-inch bolt, but you can get 4-inch ones for 24 word seeds, even more secure. And then, it comes with bolt and stuff. And it's actually 75% off deal versus getting the cheapest single slate for a 12-worder, because you can get 8 times the amount of seed words sets than you can for the dollar value. So basically, you're saving 75% of your money because you can make 8 times the amount of these. You make stacks of these with the words on each, and it's very discreet. These are just everyday items. People buy washers and bolts and stuff, and they're not related to crypto. And you also get a stamping set. This is a little set. I have all the links in the description that allow you to get this stuff. You do a few hammer hits into these washers. You only need the first 4 letters of each seed word. A lot of people don't know that. You only need the first 4 of each seed word, and that will allow you to recover your stuff. You don't have to write out, like, if the word is squirrel, like there's a whole list of 2,000 some words. Those are the only ones that are used. If one of them is squirrel, I checked the list. That's a long word, right? That would suck to have to stamp out, I don't know how many letters that is, like 8, 7 or something. But you only need the first 4. So a lot of people don't know that. So that means even for a 24-word seed, you only need 4 of the first 4 letters. So it's less than 100 hits of the hammer, and you've got the most secure set of words. 24 times 4, 96. So yeah, I have all those links in the description. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about hardware wallets and why it's the most secure option for you and why you're not secure in Metamask. So I'm going to bring up some stuff here. Ooh, isn't that bright? So this is metamask.io. This is where you should download Metamask. This is the only legit site. I'm going to switch this to dark mode. Doesn't that feel better? Now, a lot of people are wondering, like, oh, isn't Metamask safe enough? I've been fine for this long. What's the problem here? There are things called 0-day attacks. So Metamask has been fine for now, but we know how it stores your private key. It's stored in an encrypted file on the machine that you installed it on. That's why whenever you sync up your MetaMask to, like, say you're using MetaMask in your Google account, your main Google account, I wouldn't recommend doing that. You shouldn't mix crypto with your main stuff. But if you're doing that and you have a laptop too and it syncs up your stuff, there's a reason why when you go into MetaMask on your laptop, it doesn't have your login. It doesn't work. And some people import their keys there. Never, ever import your keys using anything ever resembling a keyboard. Never, if you're ever typing your seed words into anything using a keyboard, you are messing up. You are destroying security. It's not necessary if you have a hardware wallet. You'll never expose your seed words again. You never have to worry about losing your computer, and then you have to put in your seed words somewhere else because you're going to do it through your hardware wallet, which is offline. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in this video, but if you're ever entering seed words into anything and you're using a keyboard, bad mistake. Oh yeah, never import and never take a photo of your seed words. Don't store it digitally anywhere, ever. Don't even put it in your LastPass password manager. They have 0-day attacks too, where stuff can get seen or passwords are cracked and they just log into people's password managers. Boom, you lose everything. You can only trust this stuff imprinted in metal, and I mean, yeah, basically metal. You can write it down on paper at first, but then immediately, as soon as you get those materials down in the description, stamp it out. It's the cheapest method, guys. I'm linking you guys the best, cheapest method, most discreet, down below in the description. Check it out. Like, I put in all that work to save you guys time, so you don't have to figure out a way to do it, or, you know, divulge your personal information that you're a crypto enthusiast or user. So take advantage of those resources. This is a Cointelegraph article from February 2nd. Holders beware. Metamask and 40 other crypto wallets. Everyone should read through this article if you're very interested in understanding the potential scale of this overarching, you know, threat vector for Metamask and any DeFi wallet that uses just a browser extension. Your cryptographic private key is stored locally on that computer. That means if you get a virus on that computer, they can get to that key store. It's the same exact location on everybody's machine. It saves it in the same spot. You can people can find that, so it's very easier for a hacker to find it because it's the same on every machine. It's not like it's individualized and it's random and they have to get lucky and find it on it's like harder to do at scale. This is mass scale. People know where the file is. Like, I could go show you on my computer, but I'm not going to. And that file can be decrypted. Like, it is encrypted, so it's somewhat secure. But you know what decrypts it? Just your MetaMask password. So if you have any keylogger on your computer, anything, any screen grabber, they can see stuff being typed in, you are at risk of being remotely stolen from all your funds in that MetaMask wallet. Because all they have to do is find the key store, decrypt it with your password, what they have from your keylogger that you have because you're not aware of it. And it could be a 0-day attack. They do it at scale. So they could be collecting lots and lots of private keys that they can hack at any moment, basically. And then they do it all at once. So that, because if someone uses this hack to just get one person, then people start working on it to fix it. But usually people only start working on and fixing the stuff when there's a big, massive hack and it hits millions of people, or not millions, but hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. That's what then they patch stuff and try and make it more secure. Why be a part of those people who get hacked when you can pay $80 to protect yourself forever from this type of vector? So you are not safe just using MetaMask. It's a good, it's functional, it's easy to use, but guess what? When you use a hardware wallet, you can still use MetaMask. You use it as a front end, and you can just connect to your hardware wallet, and you are never exposing your seed words, or same as private key. Private key is just what the computer understands. Seed words are what humans can understand. It's a version. It just is the same thing as the private key. So it's very important to understand that just MetaMask is not safe enough. Not when you have 1000x your money that you currently have in crypto. Think about that number, and would you be okay just losing that to a grand scale hack or an individualized hack that is only possible if you're using MetaMask, which keeps your private key online. It's on a live hot computer. It's why it's called a hot wallet. This is cold storage. Your private key will live in this, and this is never connected to the internet. So it's not possible for someone to get the private key. This just signs a message that only the private key can send and proves that you have access to this whenever you interact with Metamask, and allows you to use transactions and Metamask while still keeping your private key offline and unavailable to any potential hackers. You need 2 of these devices if you participated in a sacrifice for pulsechain or pulsex, because you want to protect your current seeds now from any, like, you're stopping the bleeding. You're not safe completely if you just get a hardware wallet for that. You're going to want a second one to send all of your new coins to that you get. If you have a long-term stake, you also need to, because you're going to protect that seed words that you have for that long stake. And then you also have one for all your future crypto anything. You send it to a brand new hardware wallet that generated its own seed words inside the device, 24 words, potential passphrase, and a PIN. That's where you want to do all your crypto on forevermore after that. And then you're super secure. We call that your vault wallet. In the description of my channel or video, you can see, here's the link to the Trezor site so that you get the right one. Here's the discount link for the VPN. Now, this is the official Trezor site. This is what it'll look like. This is the price. We're going to download Metamask. So I'm going to unhide this. Download. It's Chrome, so we're just going to install it. Add to Chrome. Add extension. There we go. And a lot of people ask me, like, is it possible for someone to remote hack me through getting the key store file and my MetaMask password? Heck yes, I would say. So this will make you immune to that type of hack, which you don't want to be a part of, and in the news about the group of people who lost millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, when you can just do what you should have done in the beginning and had a hardware wallet protecting your stuff. This video has been a long time coming. You know, I wanted to do my own take on it, save as much time as possible, but explaining in detail the importance. So you don't have to do this if you already have your wallet that you use that's hooked up and you used it for sacrifice. Don't have to create any of this. This is just if you haven't made a MetaMask wallet yet. So you can just go ahead and make this, password in. Now this reveal, see how bad this is? This is so bad. Even MetaMask, like if you don't have a hardware wallet, part of the setup, it asks you to reveal this. If you are compromised before this, if you have any sort of screen capture virus that you're not aware of, that never shows itself, you could have gotten it 2 years ago and you've had it ever since, but you know, it's possible to have these things on your computer. As soon as you hit that button, boom, they have you. They have the same exact access that you have to those keys. Doesn't matter if you attach a hardware wallet now at all. That's why people need 2 hardware wallets. If you're part of the sacrifice set for pulsechain and pulsex, if you've created it in this way on MetaMask alone, you could already be owned and just don't know it yet, and the hacker could be waiting for a large amount of money in there or a certain time frame. It doesn't really matter. It's potentially there. Now, if you generated your seed words and private key with the hardware device, which I'll show you later in the video, you never expose the words to any screen other than on your device, which isn't online. And so you don't have this attack vector. Imagine leaving millions of dollars up to chance that you didn't have a virus on your computer years ago that's still there. Can any of you guarantee that you don't have a virus on your computer right now? Because most people can't do that. Sure, you run a virus scan, but if it's a 0-day attack, it's hidden stuff that isn't picked up by virus scans, and then you lose all of your money. If you don't want to be a part of that, get in on this. So right now, I'm going to write this down because I have to do it. I'll probably edit this out. You only need the first 4 letters. All right, we wrote it down. Then you hit next. Then you put them back in order. Site, you hit confirm. There you go. Now you have this account here. All right, everybody starts with an account 1. All right, so you have this control. Now you can make all these accounts are different addresses that are derived from that initial private key and public key pair. It's just a hash of that, and it's also controlled by the same seed words. So some people think if you just hit create account and you name it second account, create Some people think if I send money from this account 1, say you have $1,000 worth in here, and you transfer between accounts, you send it to this address. Say I decided to send, I don't know how much ETH is right now. So say you wanted to send ETH over there. You're like, aha, then that address is safe, right? Because it's a different address. No, it's not safe. It's not different. Same seed words. The person making the account, like if they have the same seed words as you, they know what it is. They can just add account whenever they restore it, and it reveals all the addresses ever tied to this. They can keep going down the list. If you have 10 accounts, they just go add account, add account, add account, add account, add account. And it will reveal all balances and all those, and they can move it because they have the seed words. Doesn't matter even if you have a hardware wallet at that point. If you're sharing seed words with someone, there's one exception to that I'm going to share at the end of the video, that you can be protected. Even if you lose your seed words to somebody else, you're still protected, and then you have the chance to move your stuff to an even safer hardware wallet again. You can do it in the same hardware wallet. You can change it, but it's easier just to have 2 hardware wallets. But anyway, this is not safe from hackers just because you moved it to an alternate address. You can make those infinitely for free in Ethereum. We have the Metamask account. What's next? So you have your Trezor now. You finally have it. You have your Trezor. You just ordered it. Good job. Suite.trezor.io. And it's going to ask you to download this desktop app. It's the Trezor Suite. So you download it. I've already done it. You make sure you pick the right one, so Linux or Mac or Windows 10. Works on Windows 7 as well. And then after you've downloaded that, you're going to go to suite.trezor.io/web/bridge. Select your operating system again. Download the latest bridge. Once you've done that, go ahead and start up your Trezor Suite. My hologram was intact. Okay. And untampered with. So this is security check. Make sure the hologram sticker that comes on the packaging was there and untampered with. Mine was on mine. I bought from the official shop or a trusted reseller. Don't buy your stuff off of eBay for half off because they're giving you a deal on it. Never use any free hardware wallet you get from some random person. Ledgers, the Ledger Nano, they sent out free. Ledger themselves didn't do this, but hackers did. They sent gifts to people that were free hardware wallets because people's addresses were leaked from their database. And so they were then targets of hackers, and they sent them malware-infused hardware wallets. So when they plugged it in the computer, it drained all their money in crypto. So always buy it directly. Don't accept any free gifts. You can buy it directly from Trezor.io in the link below. That's what I would recommend. But you can get it from Amazon too if it's the official reseller. Make sure package wasn't tampered with, like is there holes in the box, stuff like that. So hit setup Trezor. I have my thing already attached to my computer. Install firmware. Just starts installing it. Back in earlier versions of the firmware, because I've had hardware wallets since 2017. They were even more expensive back then. Now they've dropped in price. Pretty good time to get some. Can never hurt to have, you can't have too many hardware wallets. But you used to have to hold down the buttons and then disconnect it and then put it back in without holding any buttons, something like that. So if you have that option, that's normal. Depends what version you get whenever it gets to you. So now I disconnect my Trezor. Boom. You're not holding any buttons while reconnecting the cable. All right. Update finished successfully. Please disconnect the device. All right. Disconnect it. And then we'll put it back in. There we go. Continue. Now, create a new wallet or restore one from backup. If you have Sacrifice for pulsechain or pulsex, this is for you guys. You're going to have 2 of these hardware wallets. You're going to use the first one to recover a wallet. Now, this is for your Metamask wallet. Or if you have seed words for another browser-based wallet like Coinbase wallet, this should work for that too. You hit recover wallet. Metamask is only 12 words, so you're going to pick 12. Never do the standard recovery. We're going to pick advanced recovery because standard recovery, you enter your word by word into the keyboard. What did we say about keyloggers? Never, ever ever, no point in time, 0 times and never, ever do it. Never put your seed words into a computer or anything resembling a computer or keyboard. Don't put it into a keyboard. Advanced recovery, spell out each word of your recovery seed using your Trezor device. Yes, advanced recovery. Recover from wallet seed. Confirm on Trezor. I don't know if it'll... There you go. Do you really want to recover the device? By continuing, you agree to the Trezor terms of service. Confirm. Angle on it. There we go. Please enter the first word, and it has little letters on there. So each one of these represents what's on the screen there. So upper left says M-O, like M through O, those letters. Then the second one is F-G. Now you don't actually have to spell out the whole word because like I said, you only need the first 4 letters, and then it knows which word it's going to be. Because none of these share the same first 4 letters, and then there'd be 2 options. It's only one option once you get to the 4th letter, and then you select that on here, then you go to the next word. So you do 4 letters in a row, it knows which word, you pick the word. Anyway, so I'm going to do this in the video here. What this does, whenever you get through doing this, what happens is you're taking your seed words, which I wrote down my seed words, and what's happening is I'm importing that into this hardware device. Then it has the seed words inside, which are offline, just like how paper is offline. This is just a more functional version of a cold backup that allows you to interact with the blockchain on a regular basis. Like if you want to do transactions maybe once a month, maybe something new comes out, you want to start earning some yield on something, you can't really shove your paper or metal seed words into the computer easily to access the blockchain and allow transactions in a safe way, other than typing it into the keyboard, which would be terrible. This is the only way and safest way to constantly interact with your wallet and be protected from ever putting in your seed words. Ask yourself right now, if my computer blew up, say the motherboard melted, something blew out, and now your seed words were in your Metamask on that computer. Now you have to load up Metamask again with your seed words, right? If you don't have a hardware wallet, how are you getting your seed words into that computer and accessing and able to transact again without putting in your seed words through the keyboard? If your answer is, I'd probably have to use the keyboard to put it in, you will lose all your money at some point in the future. Because if you ever get a keylogger, you're losing all your money. And it's not that hard to get one. You click a website article or a link in your email that you're like, oh, I think this is from my, it's a bill. It looks like a bill from my internet company. Click the link to go and log in nice and easy. They sent me a nice link. Sometimes they just phish you that way, and it gets a keylogger on your computer straight from the browser. As long as you have the browser open, it's tracking everything you got. Say you go and put in your seed words later that day. Oh, now it tracked every seed word. And there's only a list of seed words that are 2,000 or so, and so they just they can check the logs of the keylogger that gets sent to them, and they just check, oh, when were these words ever typed in? Oh, was it in sequence? Okay, they have your seed words. You lose all of your money. The only way you can interact with the blockchain in a secure cold wallet way is to use a hardware wallet. It's kind of like the nice middle ground of having cold storage, but also being able to interact on a daily basis, and on any computer pretty much, you're able to access your coins and not worry about if the computer has malware. So even if the computer has a keylogger, what do you care? If you have a hardware wallet, you're not typing anything into the keyboard that is related to your seed words. You shouldn't be anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're safe from that. So I'm going to go ahead and put all these words in, and I'm going to show you how that brand new wallet that I just created, even if I uninstall the Metamask, which is what you should do after you've done this. So say you currently have a hot wallet with all your crypto on it. You get the hardware wallet, you do recover wallet, you put in your seed words into here, into this device, using the method I just showed you. as opposed to typing it into the keyboard. And then once you've done that, you'll have your private key in here. You can delete your MetaMask, reinstall it. You get new seed words for a brand new, we call it a dummy MetaMask account. All it is a front end so that you can interact with the blockchain. Then you can attach your hardware wallet, and then you're able to access the private key and all the stuff that this thing connects to while using the MetaMask front end for interacting with everything. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. It's going to take a while. All right, so I just completed the recovery. I put in 12 words through the hardware wallet, not the keyboard. To continue, you can set a PIN, use a strong PIN, so that if someone physically gets access of your Trezor and they have your seed words, well, if they don't have the PIN, they can't get to the transacting with anything on it either. So we're going to hit set PIN, confirm on Trezor. It gives you a little prompt. You just hit confirm or cancel. There's 2 buttons on it. And do I want to set a PIN? Yes. Set a new PIN. Let's just make it easy. I think you can have up to, is it 9 digits? Yeah, enter up to 9. On the Trezor, it has a mixed up, so yeah, the numbers are all jumbled on there. And so I'm going to put in a PIN. We'll just do 1111. So you'll notice on the screen that my 1 is over here on the right. And so I can just hit 1111. Whereas normally on a keypad, 1 would be here, 2 would be here, 3 would be here. It's all jumbled up on the screen so that even if someone has screen capture software, they don't know what you pressed. Now, it's still a really bad idea to pick all of one number, because if there is screen capture software, they only have to try 9 times and hit it 4 times, and they can get into the Trezor if they had that information. But if you did, like, that's why doing up to 9 is really good, because good luck doing whatever amount of permutations that is to figure out the order if you do different orders of numbers. So adding in even 1 extra number greatly decreases your chances. So never do just 111. We're just making it simple on here. Enter PIN. Now I have to re-enter the new PIN. So it's 1 is now here. 1111. PIN. PIN is set. Continue. Now you can actually store Bitcoin in here with a private key. You can also have Ethereum alongside at the same time. I do think there is some limitation, like if you try and activate all of these and track all of them with different addresses, I think there's only so much memory on here that it can do at once. But if you're just on Ethereum, you can just even deactivate Bitcoin and just use Ethereum, and then you just scroll down and complete setup. And you can name your Trezor. You can name it K4K, or if you want to keep it more discreet, you could just, if you're the only person who's supposed to ever see this, you could name it something like, I don't know, something funny for any would-be person who might see your hardware wallet screen. It could be like, screw you, or something like that. But yeah, you can just name it Trezor, name it whatever. Edit name. Confirm on the Trezor. If you really want to change your name to Trezor, and it says Trezor below it, you could have it say your name. Oh, now it works. Access Suite is the next thing you'll do. You're going to access your standard wallet. Standard wallet, it's the first account under that private key, public key pair that you have from those seed words. And so that first account will be seen here, and you can have hidden wallets, which are hidden accounts, like secondary accounts, that you can have under the private key, public key pair, same seed words, and it's only accessible if someone has all your seed words and they have your passphrase. If they don't have your passphrase, even if they're a million miles away, they have your seed words. If they don't have your passphrase, which is an extra like 25th kind of word, you could call it, which can be up to 50 characters long. You could be like, I love roses, and roses are red. That could be what you typed in. And if they don't type that in, they don't get access to that address that has whatever you sent to it. So even within one private key, you know how in before with Metamask, if you just create an extra account, if they get the seed words to that, they get access to all your accounts instantly. There's no way to protect them with a passphrase or anything like that. In a hardware wallet, you can. That's why you're able to store multiple separate sets of dollar values if you want, spread across multiple passphrases within the same hardware wallet so that you only access them. And no hacker, even if they get the seed words, if you move everything to the hidden wallets, nobody, even if they have your seed words, can access it without the passphrase on top. That's the extra omega security you have with the hardware wallet. Wouldn't that make you feel way more calm and at peace of mind if you knew that even if your seed words got out, you can passphrase protect it, so you're still safe? And so what you would do is you would store your metal imprinted seed words for that private key that's in the hardware wallet. You would store that somewhere separate from your passphrase. And then even if they find your hardware wallet and they have your seed words, if they don't know where your passphrase is, they're not getting access to your funds. Isn't that, dude, that's so much peace of mind right there. You feel so good because you're immediately safe from even a would-be hacker from across the world getting your seed words by getting into your computer. If it's there somewhere, they still can't get it unless they have your passphrase too. So yeah, we're just gonna say standard wallet. All right. Now you can check out some stuff in the suite here. This is just zero value because it's the same address we have over here in Metamask. We're going to pin this here. Oh, this is the storefront. I guess we'll talk about that. So if you go down in the description, there's a link to this. You can, if you want to become a streamer, there's a list of low end, medium end, high end stuff. There's lighting, there's cameras. I'm going to get better camera stuff. I already know what's good. I just haven't upgraded yet. I'm going to do that soon. We got cameras, we got microphones, the best of the best. We've got just all types of stuff. On the go setup, I'm going to start doing some possible streaming on the go and recording on the go. So this is going to be necessary. And if you want to do live IRL stuff, there's that. Some people ask me what vitamins I take. There's the list. You can get them yourself too. And here's storage wallets. Here's the top 5 cheap laptops that you can get for around less than $200. Dedicated crypto laptop, runs great, has SSD in it, runs fast, works with Metamask, works with Trezor. I already did all the research for you. Save yourself the time. Get yourself a dedicated crypto laptop. And then also I have the most discreet crypto wallet options here. I guess we can show it off real quick. So these are potential options. You really only need the last 3 and a hammer. These are just other options if you feel like spending the money. If you kind of wanted a Dremel anyway, it lasts a long time. You can use that too. It's some people say it's easier than hammering in your seed words. You can just etch it in with an automatic thing that's does it pretty quick, and you don't have to hammer or find a really hard place to hammer it in. But if you do the math on what you pay for this, you can get 8 of whatever this is out of this. I'm not going to do the math right now, but the way I did the math on the price, it was based off of 1 plate costing $12. I think that's the cheapest one Amazon Choice chooses. And then this, you can get 8, just a way better deal. So you can get 8 times the amount of seed words stored in metal with this setup, and it's discrete. That's another killer point. I tell you which version to buy. This is the size you need. So if you just go over these, it tells you exactly what you want to get and what you're going to get out of it. Really good deal. I'm not personally selling these. I'm just linking you to them because I did the research, save people the time. Because I've told people, oh, just get some washers, get some bolts, and get the stamp thing. And they're like, well, what size washers, what size bolts, what kind of bolts? And then it's hard to oh, let me Google it for you again. So this just tells you, click on this, click on this, click on this. And then you have all the things. Don't have to do any research. Very easy. All right, so let's check out our MetaMask main account. You can see you see this address 0x76 and 561F. Now let's check the Trezor suite. Let's see what address it is. Click on Ethereum. Go to receive ETH to check our address. It's 076. Here, show full address. We have to confirm it on here. Confirm. We imported it correctly because look, it's 0x76 561F. 561F. So we have access to the same thing. And now what we can do is we just turn this off, remove from Chrome. We're totally safe. We can now make a dummy wallet Because you know how this wouldn't be a good wallet to use with your hardware wallet. This is for people who are sacrificed currently for pulsechain and pulsex. If you're new to the channel, those were opportunities of cryptocurrencies where you got into this set of people for basically sending your cryptocurrency to an address, losing it, you give it up, and then you get allocation of coins potentially of the project in the future. And so we are waiting currently at the time of this video for that airdrop on the Pulse chain. And if you're waiting for that and you only had a Metamask account, then you would have basically these seed words that were potentially exposed or compromised. And the best you can do now is stop the bleeding and no longer keep your private key online. You would have it offline in your hardware wallet, but still be able to be online and using it. And so this wouldn't be a good permanent storage. What you would want to do is generate a 24-word seed for Trezor directly, completely new. You're not like importing a MetaMask one. And then you would send all of your crypto to that address. And then you could even have it in a hidden address with a passphrase, and it's even more protected. That would be the best protection you can have, is a passphrase protected address where you sent all of your crypto and then only use passphrase protected addresses after that. The private key to this MetaMask wallet is in your Trezor, okay? So we're going to remove it from Chrome. So we can actually delete this and not worry about having to input our seed words into Metamask through a keyboard, risking losing all of our crypto. So we can remove that, and I'm going to reinstall it by going to metamask.io/download, install Metamask for Chrome, add to Chrome, add extension. Trezor Suite is just an application that allows you to connect to your Trezor and interact with it nice and easy. And the bridge is just something that runs in the background and allows the Metamask along with Trezor, along with Chrome to all interact with each other properly. So you have to keep those up to date. So now we're going to make our Metamask wallet. Whenever you have your private key in your hardware device, then you can use any Metamask like dummy account. You can make a fresh one, you could keep a regular one, doesn't really matter. You just create a new wallet. You would want to put probably a more realistic password on here, but I would still put a good password on that. It doesn't super matter, because if you're interacting with this address, nobody can actually move the coins without interacting with this Trezor that's connected to the computer at that time. Create, next, reveal. See how unsecure this is. Whenever you create it through the Trezor itself, it doesn't reveal it anywhere. You guys wouldn't even be able to hack it even watching the video whenever I show you how to make the like 24 seed one later. Now you just put the words back in, prove you know them, and hit confirm, done. Now this is a new address, doesn't really matter, but it's the account one. Now you see this connect hardware wallet. You see connect hardware wallet. You click connect hardware wallet. This will pop up. You hit Trezor, hit continue. If it's already connected, that's what will happen, or you just connect to your hardware wallet. You just hit allow, make sure it looks normal and there's not any weird stuff going on. Allow for once for the section. Export the public key. Now you get to this screen, a lot of people get questions. They're like, oh, what do I do? It's asking for a passphrase. I didn't set one, did I? Uh-oh. Did I lose all my money? No. This is just to access your default account. That is the account number one attached to your private key that's in the device. And so that doesn't have a passphrase on it and never will. And so you can just hit enter. Now, if you had a passphrase at that last screen for a separate address and you wanted to access that one, you would then put in a passphrase there and you'd have access to that account, which has those funds. And you can add those whenever you want and do transactions from them. Now you can go through, like, there's just lists and lists and lists of derived ETH addresses that are connected to this private key that you can send funds to if you want. But just go in order and use the first one. So you just hit unlock and you see it's that other address. Do you remember from earlier in the video? It's the 0x76 ending in 561F. And now that's what I'm connected to this address with. You'll never send anything to this account. This is just the default account that you have to create it to interact with the front end that is Metamask. But we're just using it as a dummy so that we can import our real addresses that we care about. And this is where we're going to send our money if we were to transact. Or if you have a passphrase address, you can send to that if you wanted to. You can always send to any address, but you can only access and spend them if you have the private key, like if you're the real owner who knows the seed words and you have the passphrase. So that's our connected hardware wallet right there. If you're enjoying the content, enjoying the video, and this helped you security posture-wise, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell. If you want any more updates about the best stuff happening in crypto, this is the channel for it. If you want me to make more content like this, please show support in that way. So now that your hardware device is connected to this MetaMask install currently, you can now do transactions using the MetaMask front-end interface. That's what you're using it for. Do not send funds to your account 1 address. Only do Trezor addresses or other addresses that are passphrase protected or connected to your other wallets. You're never going to use this dummy account number 1. And so if you ever delete Metamask, you can always just reconnect a hardware device to any Metamask account that you create, and then you have super protected control over it. So for people who have stakes for 15 years or you have any sort of thing that's time locked, if you don't have a hardware wallet and you go to restore your wallet because your computer died or something like that, you can't without getting into the keyboard and typing it in and then potentially losing all your money. Hardware device all the way. Now that you saw how easy it is to get set up and move your private key from being online in MetaMask on that machine you have, now the private key is safe and secure inside this hardware. This allows you to interact with the blockchain, proving you have the private key without being online. So that's how you import your MetaMask seed words into Trezor to be more secure than you currently are. So you're not at risk of keeping your private key online any longer. You're now always cold storage. Just that alone, you are 10 times more protected than you were before. You're still at risk of, if your words were already seen by something before getting into the hardware wallet, you're still kind of screwed. And if you can't move your stakes to another address in a passphrase protected one or another hardware wallet that has totally new seeds generated from inside the device, if you can't move your funds, then this is the best you can do for now. But for people who they haven't done anything long-term staking yet, then you only need one hardware wallet, and all you have to do is you go into the Trezor suite. All right, so we're in the Trezor suite. Device. You can also check your backup within the app if your backup would be successful to make sure your words are right. Before you start moving tons and tons of funds into it, make sure your backup and your words are correct. Like, it would suck if you didn't check it till years later and then your backup wasn't working. So all you have to do is you input, if you click on it, check backup, select the number of words in your seed, I understand, enter all words in the correct order, and it won't affect your device. So this won't actually like reset it or do anything. It's just checking if it would have worked. You can do 12 words, and you always do advanced recovery. And all you do is you enter your PIN, because we set up a PIN earlier. Then you're also going to put in all your seed words, and it'll tell you if it would have backed it up correctly. Once that's confirmed, then you know you have the right stuff. Then you imprint that stuff into metal, all your words, and then you're basically golden. Your backup's good. And you can set up passphrases and send funds to those addresses and keep notes of that stuff. Do not forget your passphrases. Don't screw yourself over here. So if you're looking at the dashboard and say you want to wipe the device, you don't want the private key in there anymore, you don't use that wallet anymore, you don't use those seeds anymore, then you can remove the private key from it and set it back to, it's just a reset. It wants to be used and filled with a new private key. So the best way to do that is you go here, upper right, you go to device, go down, factory reset. Wipes the device memory, erasing all information including the recovery seed and PIN, Only perform a factory reset if you have the recovery seed in hand or there are no funds stored on the device. Oop, I understand this action deletes all data on the device. I understand that I have a backup of my recovery seed in order to retain access to my funds. Factory reset. All the instructions on your Trezor. It will all be lost. Are you sure you want to wipe it? All right, so now you're at square one and you're about to set up your crypto vault so that you can rest assured that you are as safe as possible in the crypto sphere. You are now going to connect your Trezor and you're going to create your own brand new 24-word seed directly inside the Trezor. So it's never been online ever. So once it's connected, oh yeah, we're going to disconnect it. We're going to reconnect it. Installing. Use Trezor here. Oh, begin setup. Trezor is not set up. All right, begin setup. Set up Trezor. The firmware is already installed. All right, so we're back to the recover wallet or create new wallet. If you have all liquid assets in crypto and you're not tied to any specific address, like if you have stuff that can all be moved to a new address if you wanted to, like there's the only thing holding you back is like, why would you do that? Well, here's a good reason why. Because if you have exposed seed words from having just an installation of Metamask and that's the seed words you wrote down, those 12, if that's your current security posture, you are at risk. So you're going to want to move all funds from all of those addresses associated with that Metamask wallet address, send those to this new wallet, which you will hit create wallet. Standard seed backup, recover your wallet using a single list. All right. Do you really want to create a new wallet? By continuing, you agree. Yes. We are creating our offline cold storage seed word, and we're going to create that backup right now. Create backup. Now make sure you read all this stuff. Check your backup in device settings before sending money to the wallet. Never take a photo or make a digital copy of the backup. This is just another word for your seed words, backup. Keep your backup secured and never share it with anyone. Begin back. Create backup. It will generate a list of words which you need to write down. This information is the most important part of securing your Trezor. It is the only offline backup of your Trezor and all wallets associated with it. Sounds pretty important. Take this seriously if you plan to use it. So now it says right on the screen, so you guys would never see this. I could do this all right now in video, set it up, and you guys wouldn't see it. Whereas on the MetaMask version, it reveals all seed words in plain text on screen. You guys could instantly have access to that. I could set this whole thing up and do every step. Other than me reading off the words to you, you would never know what the words are. So even if you had screen capture, even if you had keylogger, you wouldn't be able to get these seed words. Doesn't that feel so much better security-wise? But I will tell you what's on the screen because this is a learning video. So it says, write down the seed. First word is, what do we got here? Word is, well, the word is trim. So we're going to write that down, and we're doing the first word is trim. Then you hit next. Second word is flush. So yeah, and so on and so forth. You make this whole, it should be 24 words, and it's super, super secure. It was created offline. And then that's where you're going to send all of your crypto assets to, is the addresses that are inside of that hardware device. So let me go ahead and finish all this. Once you've written down all 24, it goes through and it double checks and it says, please check the seed. And so it'll go in the same order again. So it's going to be trim, flush, woman, tell, beef. It's going to be all those in a row, all 24 words. And you're just confirming that you have the right stuff down in the right order. Take it seriously. This is like you spend 5 to 10 minutes on this, and then you have peace of mind for the rest of your crypto life, your crypto security. Feels so much better. Make sure you take it seriously. You can always check if your backup will work properly inside the app. You can input it all through the device. Super secure. Remember never to type your seed words into anything ever resembling a keyboard. So the wallet backup is now complete. Just think of it as, that just means your seed words are now written down and it's created. Continue and set pin. You should always set a pin. Remember, we're just going to make it nice and easy. Don't ever do this 1, 1, 1, 1, enter pin. If you're just using Ethereum, just deactivate Bitcoin. There's no reason to have it on. Complete setup. Access suite. We don't have any passphrases set up, so we're just doing standard wallet. We're just going to look at the first address that it was generated from our 24-word seed we created. Receive. This is our address. This is our super strong, secure wallet address. This is where you'd want to send all your funds. And then if you wanted to make it even more secure after you've sent them there, here's your address. So once you have that, you can send all your crypto funds that are from a less secure set of seed words, send it to your 24 seed that was generated offline, will remain offline forever. You're never going to input that anywhere. No one's ever seen it. No one's ever logged any keystrokes. You got this super secure address. You can sign and verify through your hardware wallet as well. All right, and then you can also set up a dummy wallet to connect your hardware wallet to, just to use the Metamask front end. So basically, using a hardware wallet allows you to connect to any of the ways that you connect to dApps, allows you to connect to them in a safe way without revealing your private key or having it online at any moment. It's just another way of interacting with stuff. So there's lots of different things built that allow you to see and interact with certain stuff. Some are built better. Lots of people like the MetaMask interface and using it to connect to dApps. All right, now one thing you'll want to do whenever you're done using your Trezor on an account, like this still has my old Trezor address attached currently. You can see that here. It currently has my old Trezor address that is from that 12-word seed that I made a import of into this device earlier. It's not what's in here now, but it's still connected. So like if I were to try to use it, it wouldn't allow me to spend from it because I can't sign for it because the private key isn't in the device anymore. Now it's just got, this is just the dummy front end. And then all you do is you click connect hardware wallet. This will get really routine. You'll get used to doing this. You hit Trezor, continue, allow once, export. We're not using a passphrase, enter. And this is that new address for my new private key that I put into the Trezor that I generated from inside the Trezor, so it's never been exposed. Unlock. And now this is my Trezor one, even though it's a new address because it's a new private key that is connected and inside the hardware wallet. These hardware wallets also work on testnet, so you can actually move testnet version 2B stuff through using your hardware wallet. It functions perfectly fine. I've already messed around with stuff, so you can actually interact with other EVM chains using this hardware wallet. You don't really have to wait for support, because by using MetaMask as a front end, if you can connect to it with MetaMask and connect to it, and then you can do transactions on it. So I was able to buy and sell pulsechain and pulsex on the testnet, which means it'll work on mainnet. So don't worry about, if I connect and get on a hardware wallet, what if I can't transact on mainnet when it comes because I need to wait for support for pulsechain? No, it works now. You can try it yourself when you get it. So be sure to definitely pick up a couple of these. It's always good to have a backup. Say you have one of these and then you have your seed words are in here, but then say it breaks, say a power outage blows it up or something because it's connected to the thing and lightning strike, zap, zap, boom, boom. Well, then for you to then, sign any transactions, you'll need another one. So you'd need a backup one, and then you can just put your seed words back into here through the proper method without inputting it into the keyboard, and then you're ready to go again. Saves you on downtime. You don't have to wait around and stuff. And it's always good to just have backup. So a small price to pay to have 100% security up here in crypto. Now, majority of people in crypto do not get hacked. Usually how people get hacked is through giving out their seed words to somebody or connecting to a dApp that was malicious and they allow it to spend all of their coins. That's usually how most people lose their money in crypto. But this is the best way to secure yourself from any zero-day attacks in the future where a lot of data has been collected and then one big attack is finally activated. So if you don't want to be a part of that big mess that eventually comes out, because it's possible that something big comes out at some day where a lot of people using MetaMask who got keylogged. So a lot of people using just MetaMask, they may have exposed stuff. And if there's ever something in the future that's easily sent to people either through email or an image, there's tons of new ways of getting into people's computers nowadays. If there's any of those exploits that allow control over the computer, if they have control of your computer and they can go into the files and check stuff and decrypt stuff with the password that they keylogged, they're able to get all of your crypto in MetaMask. They can't do that if you have a hardware wallet. That's the bottom line. All right, for you guys who stayed to the end of the video and you want the best possible security, this is how you do it. Whenever you're in the Trezor suite, you go up to the top left, add hidden wallet. okay? This is an advanced feature. Take this seriously. But this can protect you even if someone has your hardware wallet and your PIN and your seed words. They have all that, they still can't get to your money unless they have this, your passphrase. So you can have up to 50 words, not words, 50 characters, and you set it up. Watch this. I'm gonna put it. You can make it one character, I think. You can have up to 50. So we're just gonna make it 1111. It tells you kind of how bad that password is. So access hidden wallet. Next screen will show the passphrase. Use this passphrase. It says 1111 up there in the corner. I just say, yep, that's the one I want to use. Checking balances. The hidden wallet is empty to make sure you are in the correct hidden wallet. So this is for people who maybe they thought they had money there and they doesn't want them to have a heart attack. It's like maybe you put it in wrong, because if it was 111, not 1111, then I would have gone to another address that this also creates and checks the balances of. But if it's not the right passphrase, it'll go to a separate wallet. So these hidden wallets are actually still under the same seed words, except on top of that, you need the passphrase to actually access these accounts within those seed words. So even if someone has your computer with the Trezor, with the PIN, with the seed words, they still can't access these hidden wallets unless they know this specific password, which with up to 50 characters, good luck getting it. So you're going to want to make this probably like a long-ish passphrase that only you would know and isn't like obvious. Don't make it like, oh, I'm going to make it my Twitter bio. Like, don't make it something super obvious that someone can guess. And so you put that in there. I understand the passphrases cannot be retrieved unlike everyday passwords. So yeah, there's no like support group where you can be like, hey, I lost my passphrase. Can you guys give it to me? No. And now this still isn't like foolproof security, because if someone has a keylogger on your computer and they can check all logs, they could, I mean, still if they didn't have a good way to sift it through, they could, but if they did, they could potentially have your passphrase too. So it doesn't mean just give out your seed words for a lull. It's just extra security if you want even more peace of mind, where it's like, wow, I just decreased my likelihood of getting hacked by another 100x. So like the chance of you ever losing anything is even smaller, even smaller. We're going to confirm passphrase. So we put it in again. Confirm passphrase. And so this is going to be receive ETH. It is a new address. It's not our account one address that has no passphrase. So if someone were to hack or steal my Trezor and they got my seed word somehow by like beating it out of me or something, and they got my PIN, they would see my account one, but they wouldn't see my hidden wallet address without the passphrase. So standard wallet, which has no passphrase, they will see this one. This is the 0x16 one. And then in the upper left, you can switch between your hidden wallets. Now this one, if you wanted to send funds of crypto to this one, it's even less likely anyone could get to it. Even if they had your seed words, they wouldn't be able to get to it without your passphrase. So if you want to be the ultimate, most secure, you send it to these hidden wallets with passphrases, you separate your passphrases from your metal imprinted seed words, and you're freaking good to go. You're as secure as possible. Pair that with a VPN. I mean, I don't want to give anyone super overwhelming confidence that they start being lackadaisical. You still have to introduce OPSEC, which is operational security, where you're not out there talking about how much money you have, making yourself a target. Security through obscurity, it's been called. If you're secretly a billionaire, that's better than being out in public being like, I'm a billionaire, guys. Oh, attack me, kidnap me, torture me. You don't want that. So don't talk about how much money you have. Don't tell people where you live or give too much information when it's not necessary. Like, it's not necessary. Someone knows where you live and where you go every day, stuff like that. Like, don't tell people that type of stuff if you want to be as secure as possible. This is the best you can do crypto security wise without getting so complicated that you're more likely to screw yourself over by messing up than get hacked anyway. So if there's 0.0001% you get hacked if you do this one thing, but then it increases your chance that you screw yourself up by 10%, that's probably not a good trade. So this is simple enough that anyone can do it. So Shamir secret sharing is a even more advanced method. I wouldn't say it's necessary. risking you messing up and losing access yourself to your own crypto. So if you ever want super advanced techniques, you can research them on your own. There's already videos out there on Shamir secret sharing, but it's not necessary for like the average user. At a certain monetary value, depending who you are, you'll want to actually split it up even among separate seed words as well. So at a certain point, you're going to want separate hardware wallets to separate money as well, with different seed words for each one. Even though you can technically create as many hidden accounts in one seed words as you want, it's even more secure to have separate hardware wallets with separate seed words. But it's not necessary until you get to whatever dollar amount you think is too much to have in one set of seed words. But that's totally up to you. It could be millions of dollars, it could be hundreds of thousands, it could be tens of millions before you decide to split it up into a whole new set of seed words, because then you have more stuff to keep track of and you don't want to end up losing money because you forgot where it is. If you make too many backups, it's like, oh, what am I juggling here? So it's really nice that you can actually do a lot with just one hardware wallet and then keeping one as a backup. You know, once you have hundreds of millions or tens of millions, then you can think about, maybe I should separate half of these into a separate set of seed words, be extra, secure. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this content, be sure to hit subscribe, hit like, use the links down below. I made it nice and easy for everyone to go to the correct sites, get the best discounts.